So let's have a look at n. Right, we're spending a little bit of time on this, but it is really important. As you saw last lesson, there are lots of VICA exam questions that are always in exam 1. So the recognition, and most of the examiners' reports are saying that students tend to forget to use the product rule or the chain rule, and they're unfamiliar or they make errors. Hence why we're going to be doing this just a little bit more for the moment. So you can see hopefully that with this expression here that we're looking at, we've got a value there, which is our cos value, and then we've got our value there, which is e to the sine x. And in both of these functions, you have a function inside another function. So that tells you that we need to use the chain rule for the differentiation of each one of those. Okay, and again, what's the chain rule? Chain rule here is on your left-hand side. Okay, the chain rule being dy dx is equal to dy du times du dx. All right, so when we do this, the derivative of our sine value, e to the sine, so we'll say u is equal to the cos of 3 minus x. So du dx, we're converting a sine to minus, we're converting a cos to minus the sine of the angle that we've been given, but we have to multiply that by the derivative of what's inside, which is minus 1. Okay, so the derivative of that is going to be sine of 3 minus x. So let v equal e to the sine of x. Okay, this is my u value here. So we've noticed that e to the ax, when we differentiate that, we're going to get a times e to the ax. So when we differentiate this, we're going to get the derivative of what's on the top, and the derivative of a sine is cos. So we're going to get the cos of x times our exponential, which is e to the sine x. And we notice that with our trig functions and with our exponential functions, these two values there stay the same from our original one. So our angle stays the same and our power stays the same with our exponential functions. So when we do this one, dy dx is equal to, okay, this is the product rule because we're actually multiplying cos by e to the sine. So we're going to use the product rule. And the product rule, again, we notice down the bottom here on the left-hand side, is equal to u times dv dx plus v times du dx. So dy dx here is going to be my u value. I'm going to write that in here. So cos of 3 minus x times my dv dx, and my dv dx there is the cos of x times e to the sine of x. Okay, so we've got cos, we've got our cos, we've got e to the sine. We're then going to add, and we're going to add v, our value of v, which is e to the sine of x, and we're multiplying that by our derivative of u, which is the sine of 3 minus x. Okay, so you can see that this value here is my u. Sorry, let me just grab that. Okay, this value here is my u value, and I'm multiplying that by dv dx, and then I'm adding my v value, and I'm multiplying that by du dx. And as I've said before, if you need to take out a common factor, you do, but we're not worrying about that at this stage.